Scott Shapiro here with Mike Beer to talk about the DRF Saturday race of the day. Before we dive into the $1 million Arlington Million at Colonial now at a mile and a quarter, I just wanted to say what a pleasure it is, Mike, to get to chat racing with you like this. Long time coming, huh?
Yeah, I haven't really been able to speak to you one-on-one like this in a while, but always respected your opinion, Scott. It's great to be able to work with you.
Likewise, I remember being at Saratoga summer where I got to hear your opinions a lot, and looking forward to I follow along obviously, but looking forward to getting more in depth with you. And we'll start with the Arlington Million, which is we're taking a look at the field there. 8 runners in here, and Mike, it's not the Arlington Million that we've seen in the past, with the best of the best, but it came up pretty fun. No real complaints. The expectations about what I thought. Shug McGahee, though, with a strong hand in here, runner-up integration from last year, the 8-5 morning line favorite. And then you got Fort Washington, who will likely be coming with his late run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not, there's no superstars in the field for sure, but it's a pretty competitive race, even with a clear-cut favorite on the morning line and integration. I guess Mystic Dan, last year's Derby winner, trying turf for the first time. He adds a little intrigue into this thing. You have a European shipper here in the 5 Cairo. So, not the greatest field in the world, but an interesting race nonetheless.
Right, the Derby winner from a year ago, Mystic Dan, the headliner in terms of name recognition, but integration, the best resume here. And before we dive into the individual horses, and let's take a look at the pace projector. And remember, free PPs for every race of the day, including this one, the daily racing form race of the day. You've got free formulator, classic PPs, as well as time form USPP. So either register for an account or log into your current one and you will be good to go. Mike, I don't know if I see Mystic Dan necessarily on the lead in this race, knowing Brian Hernandez Jr. And just the way this horse is probably run. I think he'll probably look to sit maybe off 1 or 2 horses. But other than that, I think the pace projector looks pretty legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. The pace projector, it's just to point out, it does take into account past races these horses have run, to get their pace figures. And Mystic Dan is a dirt horse. Dirt races have way faster paces. So that's factored in here. I don't think he's going to be on the lead either, Scott. We'll see what happens. Runaway Storm, he could certainly go. The longer I looked at it, this pace projector has vesting sort of way back off the pace. I don't see it that way. I think this is the horse who's going to the lead in this race, especially with Castellano coming in to ride.
Yeah, that one's 2 best races or 2 lone wins have been wire-to-wire fashion. And I think there's a number of horses here that want to be forward. Mystic Dan, not one of them. I think Time Song and Runaway Storm, like you mentioned, should make this at least an honest pace as we dive in to take a look at number 1, Mystic Dan, who, I think we all kind of know who this horse is. More than probably a headliner at the Million we expected to get. But Kenny McPeak never been afraid to take some shots here. In terms of pedigree, not really seeing all that much, but he obviously has some class, and I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I'm interested in betting him at all, especially because there's just no way he's going to be a good price in this race. And listen, is he a good horse? Yeah, but he doesn't really have a pedigree that suggests he's going to be better on turf than he is on dirt. Listen, maybe if he just runs this good dirt race, he wins here anyway. I think the most interesting thing about him, Scott, at least from my perspective, is in his good dirt races in particular, they ride him like a turf horse. They like to get him covered up, sit, sort of in range, inside, save a lot of ground, and then come with a big run through the stretch. I mean, that works on the grass. I don't know. Maybe he'll handle it. Maybe he won't. Either way, I'm not betting him.
Yeah, that's pretty much the point here. For me as well, that I'm not willing to bet him. I can't see him being an overlay no matter what happens here, but intriguing nonetheless as we go to number 2, Time Song, the longest shot on the board here, 30-1 for trainer Jonathan Thomas, coming off a runner-up effort at Del Mar against Lesser. Shipping cross country, this horse has been to the East Coast plenty in his career. I think it's going to take a heroic performance from him and Luis Saez to be a major player in here.
Yeah, especially if the pace projector's right and they sort of have designs on the lead. I mean, I don't think they're going to be blazing up there, Scott, but I don't think he's going to get away with some kind of easy pace in here either. His last 2 races are certainly an improvement. I think it's fair to say that he's moved forward since Jonathan Thomas has taken over his training, but those are, much longer races than this. I'm not sure that he was in the toughest fields either. I just thought he was really hard to like in here, but he's a big price if you do like him.
Sure, yeah, right. And you'd have to expect with Louis Saez aboard that he's going to be forward in here and drawing inside the other potential speeds. As we move to number 3, Vesting, who you spoke of, in terms of the pace projector, looks like more of a middle kind of ground saving, several lengths off the lead type situation for number 3, Vesting. He's 12-1 on the line, but you mentioned thinking he's going to be far more forward, and his running lines, or his best running lines, support that.
Yeah, that's how I look at him. I mean, we'll see what they ultimately decide to do. It's not like he can't run without the lead, because he ran some good races early on for Chad Brown, both on the lead and from off the pace. So they have options with him. But since Maker's taken over, they've just been really aggressive with this horse. And I know that he didn't have to go fast when he won his first start for Maker. Just sort of got loose on the lead there, but it was a good performance. And I don't really feel like he didn't make the lead last time, Scott, but I don't think they tried to change it up there. That was a really fast pace for that distance, and he just had to sit second in there. I actually felt like he ran way better last time than he did winning first time for Maker.
Interesting point there, as you follow the New York circuit clearly on a more regular basis than I do, but those are good races. And this horse, third off the layoff, we've seen Maker pull upsets in the past. So I think there'd be bigger surprises on Saturday than Investing ran well. As we move to number 4, Runaway Storm, the 4 inside horses, probably the 4 that are most likely to be forward here. Runaway Storm off the bit of a freshening last out in the Schuster Mile, which is on the Indiana Derby undercard, was very aggressive. As we take a look, as Alex Ashard came out of the gate and came out running. It was Encino, as you see there, Mike, getting the best of him. Encino really hadn't run on the turf much, and had probably had his best races over the all-weather, but was pushed into the Derby kind of situated, the Derby field, or consideration for that because of the way he ran on the dirt at one point. Runaway Storm, a cool horse, but how does he win this race given, the projector and, his class?
Yeah, he's just not winning it unless he really moves forward in this race. Listen, this is also missed a lot of time. He was actually, pretty good, I thought, as a 3-year-old. He only managed 1 start last year. Obviously, something happened. He's come back with 2 races this year. I don't think he's run particularly well either time, but he did move forward a little bit in that last one. I don't know, man. I thought he was kind of hard to like in here, but there was a time when it felt like this horse had a chance to turn out to be pretty good.
Yeah, disappointing for Ethan West, the lower profile, younger conditioner who got a big win in the Ohio Derby, the West Virginia Derby on
Yeah.
Sunday. Good trainer. This was maybe a horse that had a chance to really propel him forward and needed time off. I don't think really has moved forward as a 5-year-old, but will be prominent. Probably, in my opinion, will be okay with sitting off the pace, though, just off of it this time around. The 5 is Cairo, the European import here for trainer Alice Haynes. 3 for 21 in the career. And Mike, what I really noticed when I look at this horse, other than a lot of races that I didn't see live, is 0 for 12 dating back to the start of 2024 and 9 seconds in 21 starts. Obviously fits on class in here, but that's tough to swallow the price on as well with that kind of lack of affinity for winning.
Yeah, I don't like that about him either. I mean, listen, they've moved this horse around a lot. They send him to a bunch of different tracks. He always kind of acquits himself well. He's obviously pretty talented, and it's not like they ship him over here, Scott, and he lands in against a bunch of killers here in the Arlington Million. So maybe it's just a really good spot for him. But it just kind of feels like when you go through all of his races, he's been in good spots before, and he just very rarely wins. I'm not going to knock him. His last 2 races are fine, a Group 2 and a Group 1. He certainly way outran his odds in those spots. You'll be asked to take a much shorter price this time, but maybe he's a nice fit here.
No, you make a good point. I mean, does seem to be well spotted, but then to your other point, it is a little difficult to get excited because it does seem like he's been in spots where he should have won. And that's something that you obviously want to look at when you're looking at horses that run second and third a lot more than winning. If they're 10, 20-1 in those races, I don't think you want to hold against them quite the same way. The 6 horse is one of the 2 Shug McGahee trainees in here, quote unquote, the other one, 4-1 on the morning line for this 6-year-old son of Warfront. And as we saw on the pace projector, the Chicklet over the late pace, this horse certainly has the ability to come with a strong finish, Mike. And he's been up a little bit closer to the pace in his last couple. They haven't been fast paces, but maybe he's not quite as race shape dependent as I once thought.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I'm glad that you brought it up. He did seem like a horse who early on, he was really pace dependent. And maybe that's not the case anymore. That's a really good sign for him. It's also, listen, he's just a horse who he's been around forever, it seems like. And this is typical Shug McGahee stuff where he keeps these horses around. And if they can last, he gets them really good as older horses. And I think that's been the case with Fort Washington. He's always been good. As a 6-year-old now, at least in my opinion, he's better than he's ever been. I really liked, in particular, his win 2 starts back at Pimlico. I thought he ran great in that race. And I think if he can run an effort similar to that against this field, I think he's going to be really, really tough in here.
Yeah, the dinner party kind of ran, showing that he wasn't race shape dependent, closer up to the pace. They
Yeah.
went slow, was over the good going. Most of his recent races, or all of them, are over a firm course. I don't think we're going to get rain in New York, but I didn't check up on that when we started recording. Fort Washington, though, for me, a horse I think is without question going to come with a big run and is well spotted. Grand Sonata is a horse a lot of folks are probably familiar with. He's danced a lot of dances, 30 career starts, 2.2 million plus in earnings for Todd Pletcher, a Whisper Hill Farm homebred. And if the pace is honest, he certainly should come with a run. He doesn't need to be way out of it, but he's not going to be up and on the lead with the way we looked at, kind of some of the inside horses and their desire to be forward. Where does this horse fit in this race at this point in his career, Mike?
I think he fits pretty well. We'll see what they decide to do. It's worth noting he's also cross-entered into the Sword Dancer at Saratoga on Saturday. That's 1.5 miles. That might be a little bit of a better distance for him, but I don't know, Scott. I just feel like this horse can do anything. I've been a fan of his for a long time. All he does is show up and run good races, and it doesn't matter who you run him against. It doesn't matter the distance really, and it doesn't really matter what track it's over. He just shows up and he runs his race. Sometimes it's good enough, and sometimes it's not. I actually feel like maybe the distance is better with the other race. He fits better in this field. I think he can beat these horses if he gets the right trip.
Tyler Gaffleone will be aboard. Tyler coming back from injury, hasn't been aboard since his 4th place effort in the Fort Lauderdale. Another horse that has just 1 win in the last 12 starts, but yeah, as always comes with a strong late run and ran a good second to, or not always a late run, but strong run, almost always, and ran well to redistricting, who was the heavy favorite there in United Nations and got a really favorable trip. That takes us to the 8-5 morning line favorite, runner-up last year in this race, number 8 Integration. He's 8-5 on the line. He's never been worse than second in 4 starts over this course. He is not camera shy for the most part, but to me, he's kind of beaten the fields that he was supposed to beat. He's never really beat the fields he wasn't supposed to. I guess we have to figure out as we take a look here, as he comes with a strong run in the Manhattan, but couldn't get to Deterministic, who's obviously in fantastic form. That's Far Bridge there, trying to get to Deterministic as well. This is a better field, pretty convincingly, in my opinion. He makes a lot of sense in here. I just don't trust him, Mike.
Yeah, I won't argue too hard with that. I mean, it feels like he's not the kind of horse you're dying to take a short price on, right? Because there are a lot of runner-up efforts on his card there, and races where it just felt like he maybe could have won. Maybe the Manhattan was one of those too. I thought he ran great in there, Scott, but it's not like he had some kind of big excuse. He was just second best there, but that was a good performance. And I feel like even though there's a bunch of seconds on his card so far this year, man, his last race was good. A couple of those earlier ones, I did not really care for some of the rides. Dettori sort of took over there for a few. I don't like the way he rode him at the Pegasus World Cup Turf. I hated the trip that he gave him in the Turf Classic 2 starts back. Listen, I don't want to make excuses for this horse. He's going to be the favorite here, but I also just feel like this is a great spot for him.
It absolutely is. That Turf Classic turf was really poured out along the inside. And he hasn't gotten a lot of favors either. I'm being a little bit hard on him, but only for one reason, because of the price. As we'll take a look at selections. Integration, the clear one to beat in here. Mike, you went with them. I don't know what price you expect or what price you'd be willing to take, but give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think he's the kind of horse I'm dying to bet in this race, Scott, but I just looked at this race for a long time and I tried to make cases for a few different horses to bet against him, and I just couldn't get there. So I just put him on top. I'm probably not betting against him, so I don't want to pick against him. I'm gonna put him on top. I got your horse in there as well. I feel like if I did bet against Integration, it would be with Fort Washington.
Yeah, I just ended up going with the higher price Shug over the other one. I think they both probably have close to equal chances. Integration, a little less race shape dependent, probably in the success over the course. But, the price will be significantly better, one would think. And hopefully Fort Washington can come with kind of that career best race. That'll do it here for the race of the day on Saturday. Daily Racing Form free PPs available. It's fun to join Mike. We're going to do a couple more of these hopefully in the future. Thanks for joining. Good luck this weekend.